So we've all experienced some dramatic changes and challenges in the past couple of months due to COVID-19 and this pandemic. How did the pandemic impact Huntington, and how is data being used, or is it being used to help with the challenges there?
My team has been very focused on that shifting from working in the office to working from home.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
that shift has probably been the biggest. That's also, I think, across the board for Huntington was a big shift for us, because working in person really does help that dynamic, right, for getting things done. And so we are a fairly new team, really built over the last year. And when you don't have all that familiarity with each other, it's just a little bit harder to make sure that we continue building partnerships, staying connected to each other, providing learning opportunities so that folks are learning about the different areas within the bank as a whole and within our team, and then making sure that we're still delivering on the commitments we have. So that combination has probably been the biggest challenge for my team. We are using data on an ongoing basis for reporting. The PPP program offered us an opportunity to really step in and help and produce some reporting that was needed so that our customers would know where their loan was in the process. It was super helpful because we were able to be engaged quickly and respond quite quickly by having our team in place and able to have access to the data and the tools that were needed to produce that type of reporting.
No, that's great. And so I hear you about the challenges of working remotely, and especially with the newer team. Are you guys starting to have people go back to the office at a reduced capacity and start some of that working back in the office? Anyone?
You know, it's interesting. Our team, we had the opportunity, right? We're at the capacity based on the CDC guidelines, and most of our folks don't want to go back. We've got all the tools right now, and we're able to work in a very collaborative way. So Microsoft Teams, Skype, et cetera, it allows us to be very collaborative, where if you only had a certain percentage back in the office, you're still not getting that collaboration and sitting together and in meetings together. So folks are finding it easier to continue doing what we're doing because we sort of have a rhythm now with our collaboration via the tools available to us.
Yeah, I love it. We're experiencing pretty much the same thing. So a few years from now, what do you think might be some of the biggest changes we're going to see in regards to data management, either in your organization or in the industry?
So this role of Chief Data Officer, I think, is going to continue to grow. It has, I stepped into it in 2012. I believe the first official Chief Data Officer was back in 2001 at Capital One. And so I think it's just going to continue to grow. When I stepped into the role in 12, there were very few chief data officers, and where they were was primarily at banks, and that was still low. I think that's going to continue to grow, and the role is going to continue to get refined. The challenge with the role has been, because it was new, everything in the kitchen sink sometimes lands on a chief data officer's plate. And so getting it more precise for the company, right? Each role is slightly different at a company. But for the most part, people understand what CFOs do or CIOs do. And so in this case, I think the CDO role is just going to continue to solidify the type of function it should have within a company. There's going to be some fits and starts, especially when it's new at an organization, but that refinement of the roles and responsibilities for the function, I think, is going to just continue to get more clear for folks.
Yeah, I would agree. And we see that, in that, we sell, or one of our target personas is the chief data officer or chief data and analytics officer. You know that CFOs know where every dollar is spent in an organization and all the inflows and outflows. But in regards to data as an asset, do the chief data officers really know where all the data is, and are they able to use it as an asset for their organization, right? So just continuing to develop that is so important. Overall.
Yeah, there's also confusion with the information security officer, the CIO. Sometimes there's separate analytics officers, which we do have. We have a head of enterprise analytics for the bank. Each of those often have some overlap, and I think as time goes on, it'll just become that much more clear the specific roles and responsibilities of each role, because the intent is not to have an overlapping role, right? It's to fill a gap. And I do think that that is what we're doing here, but that's going to continue to get refined at other organizations as well.
Right, over time. Well, Ursula, your feedback and experience is so valuable, and we appreciate the time you've taken to speak with me today. And I want to really thank you so much for joining me. And anyone who's going to be watching this video can visit the CDOmagazine.tech for additional interviews like this one. But I just want to thank you again, and I hope that at some point I could meet my Bowling Green Falcon pal here and and meet you in person. And I want to wish you the best in your role and continued excellent career.
Thank you very much.